In this video, I'm going to be walking you through how I approach building an e-commerce campaign and actually just making sure you're aware of whether you're a marketer or agency owner or if you own your own brand in the e-commerce space and you're looking at just accelerating sales and you need a process, you need a system, you need something that you can go to when it comes to, okay, I want to launch campaigns, I want to make more sales, I want to grow my business, I want to live a great life, I want to live happily ever after, maybe even do the 4-hour work week like Mr. Tim Ferriss himself says in that book. But to start, let's talk about actions. So I've built out a little whiteboard so I can take you through, give you some actual tangible stuff. There's a few resources I'm going to drop in the description window below. If you take value from the video, of course you need to subscribe. Of course. I mean, you've got to come back for some more, right? I'm going to continue to share the strategies. I've been in marketing for 9 years now. I've been helping over 1,000 clients generate more sales online. And I do it all from a keyboard, an internet connection, and a computer screen. And I'm gonna help you do the same. So meta ads for ecom, what are we trying to do? We're trying to generate more sales. Again, whether it's for yourself or for your clients. We're trying to get a lower cost of acquisition. So we're trying to actually acquire more clients, but we're also trying to make it cheaper. So if you're already running ads or if the client's already running ads, you wanna get the performance acquiring new customers for less money. So that means a lower cost per result. Stick with me, I'm gonna try and take it slow. You wanna improve the retention on sales as well. So look, the best way to improve your ROAS isn't in the ads manager anymore. It's actually on the back end. It's what do your flows look like? What do your automations look like? Your cross sells, your upsells, your suggested products based on what they've bought. These are what can really have a dramatic impact on the ROAS that you get from acquiring a customer. To put this into simple terms for you, if I get a customer who pays £10 for a product and that gives me a 2 ROAS on the ad spend that I've spent, so that I've spent £5 on ads and I generate £10 in sales, right? So for everything I put in, I get double. All of a sudden now, if we have email marketing that suggests and upsells other products, we can maybe turn that 2 into a 3 if they make an additional transaction immediately after or within the next 7 days after making that purchase. So that's where retention sales come in. And that's what helps you get a really profitable ROAS. So again, the game's changed. It's not as easy as just running ads and having super profitable front-end campaigns anymore. You've got to know, okay, this is how I acquire customers and this is how I improve the lifetime value of my customers. And that's kind of the main outcomes, you know, from a top-line perspective that we're trying to get from this video. That's what I'm going to try and help you do in this video. And again, if you get value from it, guys, drop a comment. Let me know how you find the video. Give me some feedback as well. You know, the YouTube games, and it's not a new game to me, but it's been an inconsistent game. So any feedback, any positives, negatives, you tell me, right? And I know I like to waffle, guys. So if I'm waffling too much, just tell me the waffle, a little bit low waffle. Right, ecom ad creatives. First thing you need to look at for your own brand, for your clients' brands, brand tonality. So what's the tonality? Is it super serious? Is it formal? Is it super informal? Is it humorous? Where does this brand sit on the brand tonality timeline, if you like? If you just imagine a line across the screen, is it informal, super formal? Find the right tonality because that's going to affect your creatives, your copy, and it's going to make a big difference for you having clarity on who you're speaking to and how they like to be spoken to, the customers that we're trying to attract to the campaign to buy products, right? Target demographic. So this is your age range, your interest groups, and I'm going to go into that a little bit deeper in the process below. Price points as well. So is this a luxury product? Are you going after high ticket luxury product sales in your ecom business, or are you going for low ticket? Is it super affordable? Do you need more volume rather than is it a lower volume, higher value proposition that you're giving the customers? So again, I'm just trying to get your brain thinking. I'm just trying to get you in the mode, make you a marketer. That's what I'm trying to do here. And the process that we start every campaign with is with an empathy map. Now, this is the simplest way that I've seen an empathy map produced. Essentially, you give a name to your avatar. So you're creating a customer profile here and it's an imaginary one. Now, of course, if you have existing data on customers in your business or in the client's business, you use that. You use whatever data you have to your tactical advantage. Age, gender, location, look. So you also might want to have an idea of how that person dresses already. The example I'm showing you is a clothing brand. So of course, the fashion sense that someone has, their approach to how they present themselves and dress themselves is important for this campaign because it needs to align with the products that we're trying to put on that person, right? We're trying to get them to wear things. And that's super important to know. Okay, what do they kind of look and feel like? Now, an empathy map, you put that user in the middle, age, gender, location, look, and then you start thinking about what does that person say about our industry, about our product lines, about our category of clothing? What does that person think about our price points, about what's available out there, about fast fashion, about value over volume, products that are being shipped out, you know, Pretty Little Thing, those kind of businesses. Fast fashion has got a bit of a bad rep. The sweatshop game, all of that. What do they do? So where do they shop? Where do they work? What do they do on a day-to-day? Where are they going to be wearing the clothes? Do they go partying? Do our clothes and our ecom products support this person in the places that they go? And also, where do they go in terms of where do they receive marketing? So are they constantly on social media? Are they constantly on the bus, seeing billboards? Where are we going to have access to this person so we can start to think about making our content relevant to where they might be wearing our clothing brand? How do they feel? So again, feelings, how do they feel? What are the emotions they have when they see an ad? What are the emotions they have when they see ads from other people who are selling clothing on social media platforms like Meta, the one that I want to focus on for showing you this case study. So again, this is to build out inspiration for your content plan. This is to build out inspiration for who you're going after. And you can make multiple empathy maps for multiple avatars. Usually you're not just going to go after one type of customer. You might have a unisex brand which can be worn by men and women. So the messaging needs to reflect that in your advertising creatives, in your copy, in your store, even the design of your Shopify or your WooCommerce store. That needs to be reflected throughout the tonality of your brand, the feel, and how it relates to the customers that you want to attract. Are you with me so far? Let's go. We're going to make you a marketer today. So creatives, a couple of things for a shoot. So you're going to need ads. To get ads, you're going to need creatives. Now you can go with still images, product catalogs. In this example, I'm going to share with you the video approach. Videos have longer retention than still images. Still images are still super powerful, but we like to reserve our still images for the middle of funnel, the retargeting of traffic. So what that means is top of funnel, people who don't know you, first impressions, brand new impressions, right? They've never seen or heard of you before. We call that cold traffic. Middle of funnel are people who've seen your ads, maybe clicked on an ad, maybe added to cart, but they've never purchased. Bottom of funnel are people who have purchased that we're remarketing to as well. And the split between those pieces of creative is usually we'll go top of funnel more video heavy because it can retain someone's attention a little bit longer than a still image. And then on the retargeting, if they've shown intent, if they're looking at taking actions on our website, but they just haven't finished that process of hitting the purchase, paying us the money for our ecom product, then we want to hit them with some still images as well. So leverage both at different times in the customer journey. Presenters and models, guys, quick recommendation if you're struggling, if you're putting something together now, presenters and models, mandy.com. You can find all this talent, actors, voiceover artists, singers, dancers, entertainers, whatever you need. But presenters for advertising and models for advertising are great from mandy.com. Highly recommend it. And location. So are you going to shoot this in a studio? Are you going to shoot this on the streets? If it's a streetwear brand, are you going to go outside and put this in environments that your customer might be in because they are probably in those environments because you've mapped it out on your empathy map? Do you see how this starts to tie in the first and the second step? Location, tag venue. So if you are booking a studio, guys, this isn't a plug, by the way. I'm not sponsored at all. They should be sponsoring this video. But Tag Venue is a great website that we use to book studios. We've got a studio in the back there for colored backdrops and simple stuff. This whole place is built like a studio. It's built for our clients. So we have a lot of clients come down, shoot content here with our team. However, if you don't have the facility, you can just rent one. Right? If you're an agency, you obviously get the client to pay for that. If you're a brand, you just invest in that for the day. It's yours for the day. Now it's about getting organized and knowing what you're going to be doing there with your videographer, your photographer, and anybody who's involved in the creative process. Products, of course, you're going to need your products. So if you've got loads of units and you're planning on spreading a budget really thin across loads of units, I don't recommend that. You always want to start with your best sellers. Now, of course, if they're new launches, you look at categories of best sellers. So you go a step a bit further up. You don't want to just try and spread your budget across loads and loads of inventory and have hardly any budget behind those. If anything, if you want to test everything, you segment it. So first we're going to go for t-shirts, next we're going to go for jeans, next we're going to go for tracksuits. Or you just have a balanced approach where, okay, 50% of our inventory we're not going to promote right now. Let's focus on the most popular. What dictates it's the most popular for your brand is how many clicks you get when people visit your site, how much traffic is going to those pages with those product categories versus the other pages. It's a quick, easy way to figure that out. If you haven't launched your site yet, pay attention to that. That's going to give you some good insight on what you should be promoting first when it comes to your ad campaigns. Next, we've got actions. So what are the presenters, the models going to be doing in these shoots? Are they going to be dancing? Are they going to be walking? Are they going to be looking cool? Are they going to be talking? Are they going to be? You need to think about it, right? So think about what actions they're going to take. I could go on and on and on. Scripts. Now, scripts are usually for the presenter to speak. So if you're doing user-generated content styles, which in this example we're not, by the way, we're doing more cinematic kind of vibes on this kind of thing, more high production. UGC, user-generated content, for those of you who don't know, is from the perspective of your customers. So it's usually a review, it's usually a video, a short form video script where they're talking about the product, how they discovered it, what their experience has been with the brand. If they recommend it, what they're surprised with, all of these things can be in a great UGC script. We've got tools for that, but I'm not going to cover that in this video. We're looking at more of the high production value stuff, you know, as this is not a luxury brand that I'm going to show you the example of the ad creatives. And they are coming, by the way, but you've got to learn, you've got to understand this stuff first. Otherwise, it's just a waste of time. If you want to just see ads, you can just go on FB Ad Library. I'll put it in the description box below. And just go and look at loads of Ecom ads, but you're not going to learn anything from just seeing the face value. I'm trying to show you behind the scenes here. Now, next place you want to go, once you've got this all kind of figured out, where is it going to happen? Who's going to be the models? What products are we pushing? What actions are they going to take in there? We're now going to look at existing assets. So we always want to see, is there any existing treasure or gold with the client that we're working with in our agency? So what customer data do they have? How many customers have they sold to? And can we leverage that to create lookalike audiences? Lookalike audiences, take your existing customer data, link it to existing Facebook profiles, and then scale to connect you with people who have similar interests to the customer data that you've input into Meta. You might want to rewind that if it's just gone straight over your head. Lookalike audiences are powerful. They need to be tested. It's a quick, easy way to get connected to people similar to your customers. If you have at least, I'd say 500 to 1,000 transactions and customers on your store already. Next, we're looking at existing traffic sources. So making sure all destinations and all pages on the site, make sure they're pixeled, make sure tracking's correct, make sure we've got some UTMs and Google tracking in there as well, just to make sure we're getting the most attribution from the campaigns. Look, being a marketer, you always want to prove your worth. You always want to get recognized for the results you provide, and it's harder now than ever to get accurate tracking, but it is still possible to get a decent enough tracking to know the impact you're having on a campaign, to know how many sales you're responsible for. Maybe I'll make some videos on that. If you want some tracking tutorials and videos, drop it in the comments with the word tracking, and I'll look at building some of those. And then we want to look at insights into the most popular product lines. So you want to start where there's strength. If a client comes to us and they're like, oh yeah, we want to push these products because they don't sell so well. Huh? Hold on a minute. Why am I getting the hard assignment? I want to take something from good to great in terms of ROAS and results. I don't want to take something from shit to all right. That's a much bigger gap for me to fill. We're looking for taking good brands and making them great brands, good sales process, good traffic, converting more of it. So even with your own brand, look at what the most popular product lines are and start there. Look, it's hard to let go if you're holding stock. We've had it a million times. I've seen it over my 9-year career. You know, clients, they don't want to let go of inventory. Do you know how much inventory has just collected dust for years and years and years without being sold because they just can't let it go? Donate it. Go to your local skip. Give it to charity. Donate those clothes. Don't worry if You're not, you're worried about who's going to be wearing it. If you see someone walking on the street that isn't your ideal customer that got it for free from a donation, don't worry about that. Let it go. If your product lines aren't selling, let them go. Focus on what is selling and cut your losses. Just a quick bit of advice. Now, after you've got insights into that, you want to look at your content plan. So here, look, start with your client questionnaire. If you work with an agency, if you're a brand owner, you should get a client questionnaire. If you're an agency, you should be given a rock solid client questionnaire. And on that client questionnaire, you should be asking all the relevant questions about the campaign, about the budget, about the customer avatar, about existing data, about the targets and goals, about the big vision, about the history of the company. All of this stuff should be embodied in your customer questionnaire. And that gives you a starting point. It's like a cheat sheet. It's like a cheat sheet for yourself if it's your own brand to just get clarity on where you are and where you want to go. And if you're the agency or the marketer helping a brand in e-commerce, it gives you clarity on exactly who you're dealing with and where they want to go with the business. It's also in their voice. So when your team look at the brief, it should all be from the client's voice. Things can get lost in translation from sales team to brief to delivery team. Just unmuddle that whole situation, get the brief through the new client questionnaire from the clients themselves. It will help you. And you can see here, we've got the video name. So we're pre-planning what videos we're going to shoot, what product category they're for. Again, I said it was a clothing brand. Links to the product pages. So you just want to get organized. You want your team to not accidentally link. How many times does it happen? How many nightmares have you heard or have you experienced? A team member might link the wrong the advert to the wrong product page. So you're advertising a t-shirt, but you're sending them to a page where they can add to cart a pair of jeans. It's just losing money. You don't need to do that. Be organized. Product category, links to the product page, link to the collection page, column 1, mainly for notes. You can see here we've got t-shirt montage. We've got t-shirt montage with B-roll details. We've got t-shirt laying on floor montage. We've got montage for t-shirts. Again, jeans stationery, jeans montage with B-roll, coat stationery, knitwear, blah, 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 blah. We're just getting organized. We know what our outputs are and we want to batch produce content. Again, when you get a content shoot, whoever's executing it, you want to batch produce. You don't want to be shooting one day for one ad. You want to get as many ad creatives as you can out of that day. When we do content for clients, we're all about batch producing. If we can shoot as many ads as we possibly can in a single day, and that can last the client 2 months, 2.5 months, 3 months, fantastic. That's great. That's going to make them more profitable because they don't have to keep spending money and reinvesting in new creatives all the time just because they weren't efficient and organized on the content shoot that they actually executed to start with. Hope that makes sense. Now to the ads, the grand finale. Let's have a look at some of these. So as you can see, we got knitwear, we got the jackets. Let's just hit play. Informal, fun, playful. We're in a great studio. We got some nice color tones. Minimal in the back. We've got a bit of animation, the click of the fingers and the whole outfit color changes. We've got music on all of these, by the way. These aren't silent ads. We've got 2 models. We've got a mixed race guy and we've got a white guy. So we're trying to identify with different customer avatars there. We've got a confidence reel, if you like, where we've got the jacket on. He's doing gun fingers. We've got a montage of 2 models that are separate. So informal, quick actions, scene changes, quick pans to give excitement, to give some feel and vibe to the video. Let's just have a look at what we got. We've got more casual for the knitwear, so sitting down, a bit of a slower one in terms of action and animation, a different vibe, a different feel. It's high production in terms of high production quality cameras. So that gives a luxury feel to the clothes, if you like. High production value might give higher quality perception to your brand. We've got both the models together, knitwear again. So again, you're seeing different cuts with a lot of similar clips. So this is something that you need to get really good at for your brand or for your clients' brands, is maximizing all of these short form visual assets and tying them together differently for different variations. That's going to give you different things to test. You'd be surprised, the same clips in a different sequence can have a dramatic impact on your click-through rate. That being how many people, when they see the ad as a percentage, click through and go to actually see the product page where they can make a purchase. right? So that's a bit of inspiration for you. What do you do with these? Next, you take all of these assets. This is just a few of them. We got more than that on the day. And we start plugging them into Business Manager, Ads Manager on Meta. So you've got your campaigns, your ad sets, and your ads section. You can see here the different assets that we've got that we're testing. We've got our UTM source code put in there so that we can actually track things on a deeper level. We've got our budgets, £100 daily. That isn't per ad, by the way. It wasn't a huge spend campaign. And your campaigns don't need to be, by the way. When you're starting out, you're getting proof of market. You don't want to be overspending. You want to spend when you have absolute confidence that you know where your sales are going to come from. So scale slow. That is my advice to you. Don't overshoot the gun. Don't get too excited. Get your proof of market, minimum 1, 2, 3K budget. Get your customers, get your numbers, and then look at scaling the budget with more spend, more creatives, more audience targeting, but don't rush that process. And then you're incrementally looking at not just increasing sales, but decreasing cost per acquisition. Getting more sales at a worse profit can mean that you're making losses by making sales in your ecom brand. Who wants to lose money and give products away? It's even worse than just donating them to the charity shop, right? Next, we've got some targeting. So again, I'm just giving an overview here. This isn't an ads course. This is giving you an overview of the whole process of campaign build, launch. We've got one of our ad sets here where we're putting together certain interest groups. So these are brands that our audience, we would assume, would be interested in a similar product to ours. So Balenciaga, fashion brand, clothing, jeweler, clothing, fashion brand. Down here, you can see we've got 3 categories of the different types of products we were promoting. And if you scroll across here, things did pretty well to kick off on this campaign. We're getting £25 a purchase, a 4 ROAS. So for every pound we put into the campaign, we get £4 in sales out. That was profitable. And this purchase conversion value, it was almost 3 to 4 to 5 times that. The attribution was not strong in Ads Manager. We fixed it eventually for month 2, but this took this clothing brand from 5 figures to over 5 figures in sales, around 4x the sales in month 1, broke every sales record they had for the first 30 days of this campaign, which was tremendous. Now, the hard part of that campaign and this campaign was maintaining that performance. I'm not here to sell you some dream. We almost kicked off to too good a start, because after that, we had the sales in, Shopify was pinging off, you know, with the sound effect. They were addicted to it. And then when things slowed down for the next 30 days, it made the trajectory of what we'd done in month 1 almost too good. I would rather have had month 1 in month 2 or 3, just so there was a gradual increase. But we hit off with a bang, and then it was all about maintenance and trying to keep that same performance. And that was the challenge of the campaign. So you're always going to get challenges. You've got to optimize your campaigns. You've got to keep continuously looking at the data and the numbers. Even if you have a good start, always remember, nothing lasts. Your ads will fatigue. You'll eventually need to replace the creatives. Will they hit and nail it the same as your last ones? If you're changing products and you're doing drops and you're dropping one line of clothing that absolutely smashes it, will your next one match that? This is what I'm saying. It's not just about ads. It's about retention marketing. It's about what you're doing on the back end as well. And to summarize, I hope you found this video useful so far. Let's just make it clear, give you a quick recap. Know your customer, age, gender, location, style, buying behavior. Use real data from client questionnaires and past traffic. Plan your content, focus on high performing products and align with brand tonality, super important. Work smart and reuse existing assets. Use presenters, clear scripts and track everything. And use lookalike audiences and existing traffic in Ads Manager when it's available. Web visitors, customer data, all of these different opportunities can make your campaign bang. Next steps, go build some amazing e-commerce campaigns. Go nail your content strategy. Content is carrying the weight of almost every campaign right now. It ain't the funnel, even though that has to nail it and land it. Might drop a video on that. It ain't the targeting as much as it used to be. It's all about the creative and making sure that you're head and shoulders above when it comes to stopping the scroll, hooking them in, showcasing what you've got to offer with your ecom products, and then taking them to the store and having a really well conversion optimized store to get them to click those couple of buttons. Remember, your customers are only a couple of buttons away from spending their money with you. Your job is to make that as easy as possible and to get your products into their hands. Different kind of video. Hope you enjoyed it. I might make this a series. We've worked in every industry you can imagine. If you want me to create more tutorials for how we market in different industries to get incredible results, drop the word industry in the comments below, and I will continue to show up for you. I will continue to share everything that I've learned over the last 9 years right here on the channel. If you haven't already, subscribe, and I'll see you on the next one.